Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. This week you join me with the brand new Ford Focus ST. Now some of you may be confused because I had an ST last week. Well, that was the petrol version. This week I have the diesel. Yes, that's right, the new Focus ST, like the last one, is available with a choice of a petrol engine or a diesel engine. As always, I will take you around the car, talk you through the specification and also give you my initial impressions. So yes, here we go. The brand new Focus ST. This particular car is finished in the very bright and bold orange Fury, which I would argue is the best colour for the new Focus ST. I think it looks really good. Now to look at, the diesel version doesn't look too dissimilar to the petrol version until you come around to the rear, because the petrol version has an exhaust either side, whereas this one, as you can see, has a double exhaust pipe on the right hand side. But apart from that, at a quick glance, you would look at this and think this is the petrol version. It has the same alloys, it has the same kind of styling, the same kind of body kit, but it's only really the exhaust that is different. So let me talk you through the price of this car. So this is cheaper than the petrol version. This has a starting price of £29,495. If you go for the petrol, you're looking more about £31,000. But yes, as I said a few moments ago, I think the orange Fury is the best colour for this car, but I know that is subjective. Now I will talk about the engine in due course, but I will take you around the car. This of course is a hatchback, whereas the car I had last week was the Estate, so this is more compact. It's not quite as spacious, although that isn't to say that it is cramped, because it isn't. Actually, whilst I'm here, let me show you the boot. So the ST is of course based on a standard Focus, which means it is very practical. So the boot offers 375 litres worth of space. I know I've got all of my filming crap in there as well, and you can probably see certain bits of my lunch as well. But yes, I will cut to a clip where the boot is empty. So yes, the boot is 375 litres in size, which is about the same as a Golf GTD, although the Golf is a little bit bigger. However, if you want even more space, you can of course fold down the 60/40 rear seats to give you 1,354 litres. That is more than a Golf GT, incidentally. The boot is pretty practical. You have a hook either side where you can hang up a bag of shopping. And you also have a spare wheel as standard, which is a bit of a rarity nowadays. There is a little bit of a step into the boot, so it's not quite flush, but it's not too bad, and the load lip is quite low as well, so if you did want to load bigger, heavier items, it shouldn't be too difficult. As you can see, you've got the LED rear lights. Now one thing I would like, this is picky, but on the front end you have the progressive indicators, but on the rear you don't get that, so I'm going to be picky. That is a little bit annoying. Right, let me take you into the rear. As always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am of course a taller chap, but as you will see, space back here is pretty good. Let me make myself comfortable and close the door. So knee room is pretty agreeable, and there's also plenty of leg room as well. So even for a taller person sat behind a taller driver, legroom should be fine. Now headroom isn't quite as good, because this car does have the optional panoramic roof. So if I turn you around, you will see my headroom is a little bit cramped. I do just about have enough, and for the majority of adults it should be fine back here, but yeah, headroom could be a little bit better, although it's not really bad. Could you fit 3 adults in the back? Not possibly, but it would be quite tight in all honesty. But if you only happen to have 1 or 2 people in the rear, they can of course make use of the centre armrest just here. There we go, you can use it for a bit of extra comfort, and you also have 2 cup holders in here as well. And what I quite like is you have little prongs in here to keep your bottle, cup or your can in place. Quite a simple feature, but an effective one. You also have decent sized door bins, which you can fit a bottle of drink into, a hook where you can hang up an item of clothing, and you also have a bit of netting in the back of the rear seats, so you can fit a magazine in here, or maybe even an A to Z if you happen to still use one of those in 2019. There's also a 12-volt socket down here, so your rear passengers can charge their smartphones or their tablets on the go. Pretty handy. There is a little bit of a transmission tunnel running down the middle, but it isn't too pronounced. Right, let me step into the front. This car has keyless entry as standard, but as you can see, it is already unlocked. So the interior of the diesel Focus ST is identical to the petrol. So, yep, there's no differences whatsoever. You still get the chunky, sporty steering wheel with a flat bottom and the ST badge at the bottom. And you also get the very chunky Recaro seats, which are fantastic. They are supportive but comfortable at the same time. And thankfully, unlike older fast Fords, the Recaro seat isn't set too high, so you actually get in the car and feel like you're getting into a sports car and not an SUV. Right. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the ST, well, the diesel one, starts from £29,495, which is more than it was previously, but you do get more for your money. So if I turn on the ignition, you will see I have an 8-inch touchscreen with DAB radio, Bluetooth, navigation and smartphone connectivity. I also have heated front seats, heated steering wheel, dual zone climate control. I have a reversing camera, and in fact this car also has park assist. And you can also see it has front and rear parking sensors. It also has a healthy amount of safety kit as well. So this car does have quite a lot as standard. Other standard features include the B&O sound system, and the front seats are... Oh no, be quiet, sorry. This car does like to bong a bit. The front seats are electronically adjustable, 6-way electronically adjustable like so. So getting comfortable in the front is very easy, and the steering wheel has got a good level of adjustment, like so. Now you don't get a digital instrument display, but it's backlit in a way where it kind of looks like it is digital, so it looks pretty good if you ask me. Unlike the other Ford Focus models, the driving mode buttons are actually on the steering wheel, which I prefer because it gives you quicker access, and even better, you have a shortcut for sport. Now, the Focus ST has a choice of 3 driving modes, so let me get them up. Bear with me, there we go. You have normal, sport and slippery. Now, some of you may have noticed that I skipped past this one, racetrack. The racetrack mode is only available if you go for the performance pack, which for the diesel is an £800 option. As part of the performance pack, you also get a shift indicator light, multicolour ambient lighting, and you also get continuously controlled damping. So in essence, that is adaptive suspension that works alongside the driving modes, and it is able to adjust itself every 2 seconds. Now, the CCD is not available for the petrol version, and the petrol version gets rev matching and launch control as part of the performance pack, whereas this car doesn't. So let me talk you through the optional features. So the panoramic roof is optional. I have a head-up display, so if I actually turn the engine on, you will see the head-up display rise like so. I have a wireless phone charging pad, and the paint is also optional as well. Oh, forgot to mention I have the blind spot warning. So if I turn the car on, you should see the orange dot. There we go. There's the orange dot for the blind spot warning. So this car that I'm sat in right now with options is £32,990. Storage in here is pretty good because of course it is based on a standard Focus, so the door bins are of a good size. You have a little compartment here, sunglasses holder up here. Oh, a slot where you can pop your smartphone, and as I mentioned, this car's got the wireless phone charging pad, which is rather handy. But if you don't go for that option, you do have a 12-volt socket and a USB port. There's a slot here where you can pop the car key, Cup holders and just additional storage here. Storage underneath the centre armrest. You can put some loose change in there, and that can be taken out. You have more space and another USB port. And of course, last but not least, you do get a glove box, which offers a decent amount of space. I've got some of my snacks in there, like so. So because this is a Focus, albeit a sporty Focus, you still get a good amount of practicality. Anyway, speaking of sporty, it really is time to speak about the engine. So let me pop the bonnet up before the heavens open, and I can talk you through the engine. So here is the engine. Like the old car, this uses a 2 litre 4-cylinder diesel unit, but this is an EcoBlue engine, whereas the old one was a Duratec engine. This engine has 10% more power and twice as much torque. So let me give you the figures. I do apologise for that kind of noise in the background. It's just a noise from the car. So let me back away a little bit. So let me talk you through the power. So this has 190 horsepower along with 400 newton meters of torque. That is 295 pound-feet if you prefer the old method. So in regard to 62 times, this car will hit that speed in 7.6 seconds, and the top speed is 137 miles per hour. So although this car is more powerful than a Volkswagen Golf GTD, it is actually a little bit slower. The power is mated to the front wheels via a 6-speed manual gearbox. Unlike the petrol version of the ST, the diesel is not available with the 8-speed automatic. Nor does this car get the fancy electronic limited slip diff. Instead, this car gets torque vectoring. So basically, when you're going through a corner, the car will brake the inside wheel to give you better cornering and to eliminate understeer, whereas the petrol version gets the fancy ELSD, which has hydraulic clutches and clever sensors, and that is more advanced. Economy, yes. Although economy isn't the most important thing about this car, it will be the deciding factor on buying this car as opposed to the petrol version. So on a combined run, this offers 50.4 mpg, and in regard to CO2 emissions, this has 125 grams per kilometre. Compare that to the petrol, and you will find the petrol has 175 grams per kilometre, and the mpg on a combined run, I believe, is 34.4. So there is, quite a difference between the two engines. On a full tank, this will take you about 530 miles, whereas the petrol will take you just below 400. So there is, quite a big difference. So yes, the rain is starting to fall down now, so I think it's about time for me to end. If you have any questions about the car, please feel free to leave a question in the comment section below. But yeah, here we have it, the brand new Ford Focus ST diesel. There will of course be a full review coming in a few days time, or depending on my schedule, a few weeks time. Give you one last look at the car. One thing I've got to mention is that this diesel engine is the most powerful diesel engine that has been fitted to a Focus. So yes, this is the most powerful diesel Focus yet. And yes, I think that is about everything, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If so, be sure to like, subscribe and to ring my bell so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.